Morning, YouTube. Doing a vlog, another morning vlog. I just woke up and went out to walk the dog, and I saw a Despicable Me blimp, one of the little helpers, the little yellow dudes, just randomly flying around. I don't know what it was. It's pretty interesting. Um, this morning, I thought about last night. I thought about what I could say because I tend to do that when I know I want to vlog within a few hours, I guess. And I thought I would give you some tips on taking care of your games, both old school and new school. Um, First of all, old school. If you have NES games or Super Nintendo games or Sega Genesis games, or even Atari, it's usually recommended that you don't use alcohol and a Q-tip swab, at least on the back of the cartridges. Nintendo was pretty powerful about doing that. But here's the deal: a lot of my customers try to use water. First of all, you don't want to use water because water will get down in the cartridge and it's very hard to get out unless you take the cartridge apart or you let it set and dry out. But even then, you run the risk of damaging some major component. Now, it is just a solid chip disc inside of a lot of cartridges, Nintendo, Sega, Super Nintendo. So what I recommend is that you do use alcohol and a Q-tip swab. Number one, alcohol evaporates a lot faster than water because usually at minimum it's 50% alcohol, and I'm talking about rubbing alcohol, by the way. And so when you use it, you run a significantly lower risk of getting it down inside the cartridge before it will evaporate. Number two, on these cartridges, I love cartridges because they could withstand Armageddon and still work. But secondary with cartridges, especially Nintendo, if for some reason you put it in the system and you push it down, this is on the old NES systems, and it just flashes like blue and yellow or red and yellow or just black and just white, black, white, it usually means one of two things. Number one, you can try blowing in the cartridge to see if you can get it to work. You might have some dust on it. These contacts are very sensitive. Or number two, it's the head inside your NES. Now the head can actually be replaced. It's not entirely a complicated process. It's just a lot of screws you got to take out. You got to remove the top cover, and you got to remove a metal plate that's over the cartridge head itself. Then you remove the slide through, and I'll have to do a walkthrough of this on a video sometime. But usually it's just a 72-pin connector. You can look it up on eBay. You can usually get them for maybe $10. So if you got an old system that's doing it, another thing you can try is just kind of pushing the cartridge in down at an angle inside the system to where it kind of clicks, and you may have better contact with the head. So that's on the old school games. New school, a lot of customers for some reason think using toothpaste or some kind of cream, wiping it over a CD that's scratched will fix it. This will not fix your disc. Don't do that. And in fact, more times than others, depending on what you use to actually apply it, you may damage the disc more. So don't do that. That's a very bad idea. Try to see if there is a local business near you that does disc resurfacing. It's usually only about $3 to $5 a disc. It'll save you a lot of time, a lot of aggravation, and potentially a lot of money, especially if you're replacing a game. Now, Blu-rays are a bit trickier because they are thicker. So one rule of thumb is that if you take your fingernail and slide it across the disc and you can feel the scratch, it's not able to be repaired. Now, with that said, with 360 games, if you get a laser burn, which basically tends to happen on the older systems, if you shake the system or at any time during gameplay, and you get an almost solid ring around the game, that's usually not repairable. 50% of the time, that's going to cause data loss, and you'll get to a point in the game to where it'll either skip a whole chapter or you just won't be able to progress at all. So it's just a heads up on that. But like I said, if you can find a local business that does disc repair, or you can even get one of those $10 disc repair kits, they'll work, in my experience, about 70% of the time. Very complicated discs with group scratches or with hook scratches, most of the time that won't get them out. A resurfacing machine will have to do it, and it's recommended that you only resurface a disc about 2 to 3 times. You don't want to go beyond 3 because what resurfacing is doing is taking off a very small amount of that plastic on the disc. And if you do it too much, you can actually damage the disc. Another note, if you have cracks on the inside of the disc around the little hole in the center, and they're about to start reaching more into the disc, don't get them resurfaced because it's causing a lot of pressure and it will make that crack bigger. So, those have been my tips for the morning. I hope they help anybody. This is talking with about 7 to 8 years of customer service experience with repairing discs, with playing games, and so I hope it helps. I hope you have a great morning, a great afternoon, and remember, you are an awesome person. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. See you.